Hello everyone, so this is the exact method we have used here at BERWICK Marketing to help our business scale. Now, when we started this, we had no clients at all. We had no idea really what we were doing. We were just in a completely new market and we were like, how are we going to get clients? How are we going to push this out? And these two methods here are really what helped us get to that 30K mark off the start. That's off the starting line, nothing to begin with. So this is the beginner client acquisition method. Now this is used for fitness coaches and agency owners. We actually provide this to fitness coaches. However, we have worked with numerous agency owners and implemented this to get them going in the beginning. So with that being said, you will see some examples of different areas. We're going to talk about it in a fitness sense, but you will see some pictures from other agencies that we have used it for. This is exactly what we use to get from ground zero to 30K MRR. And I'm going to show you all of this today, absolutely free. With that being said, let's just jump straight into it. So if I just make myself smaller there. So when we come to doing this method, let me just zoom out and show you actually. As you see here, right, this is the entire method and we're really going to break this down. So the reason we designed this is that most of the time when people try and get clients, all they're trying to do is get them to hop on a quick call, and they do this within 2 or 3 messages, and it doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is you're essentially just doing a hard sale. If I were to say to you, hi there, I've got this brilliant offer for you. Can we jump on a call and talk about it? It doesn't really work. And you're essentially still doing that. Yes, you may have had 2 or 3 messages. You might have asked a few probing questions, but you're still going to get that same feeling that comes across. No one's going to be in a buying state. No one knows who you are. No one trusts you. And this is what you need to build up, right? You need to build a rapport and you need to nurture the prospect. You can't just sit there and expect them to come on with their wallet open. It's not going to happen, right? And what we commonly found, especially with fitness coaches, because they're constantly having to put out all their services, is that they would go straight from this attract method, right? They could get everything over here, that's absolutely fine, but then they would jump straight into trying to book a call. And like I said, it's cold, they don't trust you, they don't know who you are, they've not been nurtured, they don't even know exactly what you offer. Do you know what I mean? Because especially in a lot of industries, everyone's varied. So with that being said, let's just jump straight into it and see where we're going to start. So when we talk about attracting leads, right, there are loads of methods you can go down, loads of different avenues. However, we have found these two to be the best, especially in the beginning. If you've got very little social proof, you don't really know much, and remember, you're just starting out. You don't want to be forking loads of money down the drain. You don't want to have loads of systems in place and doing every single thing. Just focus on these two and become the best at them, because these are still being used in our company today. So what have we got? We've got the ad method here, which is a hook to a funnel with a content in exchange. And then we've got personalized outbound, right, which is outreach using direct messaging, which again is the same process as the ad method. Now, the reason we've done that is essentially we have 2 processes, both using the same tools. They both achieve the same goal, they're just slightly different, okay? So the way that both of these attract is they're asking people for free value. Now, why would we give out free value, okay? There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of coaches in multiple industries all across social media, everywhere. How are you going to be able to stand out? If you're just saying, I want to get them on a call, I want to get someone to sign up, it's not going to work. You have to nurture them. You have to provide them some form of value, especially in the beginning. If you've got very little testimonies, very little social proof, you need to make sure you're providing them something in exchange for putting that trust into you. So as I said, both are exchanging elements of free value. The only difference is on the ad method, you're going to get a lot more data than you would on the personalized outbound. So as you can see here on the personalized outbound method, the sort of message you want to be sending out is personalized, right? You want to go onto their page, you want to like a few things of their content. Again, what you want essentially is the prospect to look at their phone and see your name numerous times, whether that's liking 2 or 3 pictures, a reel, commenting, you know, anything like that. And you want to send them a DM. So we had here, for instance, hey Connor, crushing with the fitness journey. We did this as an example for a fitness client. And what that means is, like, let's say for instance, they have a journey like day 6 of my weight loss transformation. You want to get something personalized and you want to include their name. Now this may take longer. You might have to put more into it, but remember, you're in the beginning stages. You know, you're trying to get off the ground running. So you have to make sure that everything is personalized. Something that isn't personalized is just a waste of time. So many people, their inbox is just full of just nonsense. I mean, how many times have you ever seen something in your request and they've got like 20 followers, they follow no one, and it's a massive offer? It's pointless. So once you put along that personal message, that's the first thing they're going to see. So underneath the personalized message, you want to send what the result is of your free value. So here we got, I just made a quick video on how you can generate 10 to 30 new customers every single month for your fitness business. Now, we're not selling the journey, we're selling the result. Remember, these people are going to be paying for your product. The whole idea is that they're not going to want to have to fulfill everything. You're doing the fulfillment. They just want to know what they're going to get out of it. And after this, you want to ask them if you can have their permission to send it over. You can't just be blasting stuff in people's inbox because it's rude for a start. No one just wants their whole inbox full of something they don't understand. And on top of this as well, we actually used to send this in a 3-stage message. So we'd send the first one, which is personalized. We then send a second message straight away, which is about your actual video that you've created, the free value. And then you send a third message over asking for their permission if you can send it. Now, a lot of messages are sent to you on Instagram DM. It's like invite to talk, so you can only send one message. So we found structuring it out that way and leaving space between so they're more like pointed out, it makes it a lot easier for the reader to understand what you are actually trying to get across. Now remember, you want a yes please. If they're saying no, it's a dead lead, and just be kind about it. Just say thank you, if you ever need anything, yada yada yada. If you want to try and carry on that sales conversation, feel free, but we found that a lot of people that will just deny it. It's going to be so much harder to turn them around, and we want to be hitting out the volume. So the other thing here, when we go over to the ad method, the reason this is different is because we are putting out an advert, and let's say I'm going to use this as a fitness example, right? If you're doing, let's say, a back exercise, like rows, for instance, that's your advert, okay? And on there, you're saying, click the button below to receive my full back program, training back, etc. So touching on the personalized outbound method, this can be done by a virtual assistant or yourself to provide the content to your prospect. Now, this can be done with a virtual assistant or yourself to provide the content across. I would recommend doing it yourself in the beginning stage. If you're not bringing in any revenue, there's no reason why you should be putting out money towards a virtual assistant, and a lot of other things come with that, But what I will say is when it comes to sending messages, only be doing 40 a day. Do not do any more than that because Instagram will flag your account for spam. And on top of this, in the beginning, send about 3 an hour up to like 20 messages a day for the first 2 weeks. After that, maybe about 5 an hour up to about 30 messages a day for the week. And then the final one, again, I wouldn't do any more than sort of 6 to 7 an hour up to 40 messages. And that's sort of where your limit is, and that's how you're not going to get flagged. So with that being said, that's how you're doing the attraction in the personalized outbound method. That's how you're getting the prospect to be engaged. Let's talk about the ad method, okay? It's a hook to funnel with a content in exchange. So what that means is, let's say, for instance, you're doing a workout, right? And it's just one exercise. And on that video, you say, here is my full program, absolutely free. Click the button below, okay? Now they're going to click that because obviously it's absolutely free. They're like, oh, I'm going to get something from this person, free of charge. They then fill in their details. Now what this means is when they click the link, the funnel we have set up here of high level, a sheet will come up saying, I need your name, number, and email, right? So a few easy details. Now the reason we do this is because once they fill that out, that will then go into their CRM. So let's say, for instance, you've used this method and you've got like 20 leads that have all been nurtured towards the end, but you want more for that month. You can then scrape your CRM and see, okay, who filled in their details, who watched the training but didn't book a call, and go from there. So now they filled in their details. Once they press submit, they will then be taken to the free training, and that is where the attraction begins, right? And again, we set this up with high level. The reason we set this up with high level is because we can use meta ads and there's automations, and it ties in really nicely. There's so many integrations that high level has. I couldn't recommend it anymore. With that being said, I will put a link in the bio for a 14-day trial completely free of charge on me for high level. And if you want to talk more on high level, just shoot me a message over on Instagram. So now let's go into the nurturing process. This is where we get a bit more in depth. So we built our nurturing process purely off what the research suggested that Google provided, and that is that a buyer needs 7 hours of interaction across 11 touch points in 4 separate locations before they make a purchase. Now let's break this down. When you're having this nurturing process, you don't have to hit every single one of these 3, right? All it means is the closer you can get to those 3 points, the better. So let's break it down. 7 hours of interaction just means consuming 7 hours of your content. 11 touch points means, let's say, for instance, I open my phone and I see you, and then I close my phone and open it back up, I see you again. Now the difference between that and location is like, let's say, for instance, I see you on Instagram and I've seen you 11 times on Instagram. That's great, but I know that if I open Facebook, I won't see you. So if you're using things like cross-posting that Meta provide from Instagram to Facebook, that can account for it, and that can help you get across another location. But through this method, you'll actually see the different areas we take it to. With that being said, let's look into these 4 squares here. So we've got nurturing assets, less than qualified leads, long-form content, and self/AI nurturing conversations. Let's break that down. What is a nurturing asset? A nurturing asset is something you build once that you can be using on multiple occasions to nurture your prospects. This could be anything from long-form content, free value, a VSL, email templates, in theory, this whole ad method is a nurturing asset because we only build it once. We put it on a meta advert and we just let it run its course and we watch the leads flow in. Now, less unqualified leads. It's pretty simple. This whole process is designed to get rid of unqualified leads, especially in the beginning process. If you're filling out your calendar, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be with people that are wasting your time. If you've got very little social proof, you're just starting out, people are going to be willing to book a call, but it doesn't mean they're going to turn up, because when they really look into who you are, they're going to think he's not been in the game for too long. I don't really know what he's about, and they're not going to fulfill that, right? So you could be filling out, let's say, 7 hours a day in your calendar, but maybe only use an hour of it on actual people that have connected or actual people that are in a buying state. So this whole process allows us to get rid of the time wasters. Now, when we talk about long form content, content is very, very key here, right? You have 2 types of content: intentional platforms and unintentional platforms. Now, an unintentional platform is something with the likes of Instagram and TikTok, right? It's designed to scroll. If your whole business is built off Instagram and you have no way to get people to check out your profile, they're just going to scroll past. They might like it. They might even favorite a video you post on Reels, but it doesn't mean they're going to go to your landing page, which is your bio. And your bio is pretty much where you host what you do, you tell people about it, you've got your highlights, etc. Whereas long form content, being an intentional platform like YouTube, means people have to go out of their way to find what it is you do. Now, the reason this is so key is because, again, we're getting people that are interested, okay? Scrolling, people can still be uninterested. They've just come across your video. With YouTube, they've had to go out of their way to find it. On top of this, if we have a conversation about, trust and those sorts of things when you're trying to get clients, what are they going to trust you more on? A 20-second clip or a 20-minute video? It's pretty straightforward. And when we talk about long-form content, it's so much easier for us to build up to these 7 hours of interaction as opposed to doing it on Reels. I mean, 7 hours of Reels is crazy. The final square we have here is self/AI nurturing conversation. Now, what this is more on the personalized outbound aspect. The reason we talk about AI is because, let's say, for instance, right, you're like, I want to get 10 clients this month. If you're like 5 days left in the month, right, and you've only got 3 clients on board, you're going to be a lot more pushy when you have these sales calls, and it's going to come off easily. People are going to understand it. With AI, it carries no emotion. So whether you're hitting your quota or not, the actual prospect isn't going to realize that you're pushing harder for the call. The AI is just going to work a little bit stronger. And it's not going to carry off any of those hard sales tactics because you've told it not to. With that being said, let's just break straight into the ad method. So this here is an example of what it would look like. So they've received the free training, which is your YouTube video, and this will come over here as a platform. Now, you have your logo there, access to the free training. So we use this for a agency, but essentially what it would be is, this is my free program, etc. You have your YouTube video, which is the program, and underneath here you have, I want to be coached, I want this implemented, I want to learn more, something to just keep them engaged and make them push further. From there, they then land on to booking a call. Now, the reason we have them book a call straight after is because they're in a state of understanding what it is you do, and they've clicked to engage further, and we just want them to get on, right? We're going to ask them to confirm later on, but right now we just want them to book that call. Because remember, if they don't confirm the call, it's not going to show up in the calendar, so it's not going to waste your time. Once they have booked this call, they're then going to proceed to get an email, which will take them to the next steps. Now, the next steps is another nurturing asset, which contains your VSL, just a little 3-minute breakdown on what it is exactly that you do. And you want to be throwing loads of free value in there, loads of extra bits of content, even if it's just pictures, just more about what it is you offer and how you can benefit people without even charging them, right? Because everyone loves free stuff. From there, they will get a bit at the end that says you have to confirm the call that you will be attending. Now, once they confirm this, remember, they understand exactly what it is you're offering and they're still interested. So they've gone to confirm this call. Now, the best part here is once they confirm the call, they're then going to be taken to this page, which is testimonies, right? Which will be sent to them via email. Now, this page is brilliant because let's say, for instance, you have 30 testimonies, right? That are all about 2 minutes long. Your prospect is now going to consume an hour's worth of content, and that content is going to be purely people backing exactly what you do, right? Again, touching back to that 7 hours of interaction. And with that, that's the whole nurturing process of the ad. Remember, completely hands off. You're not having to do any of this. It's done for you because you have already built this. Now let's compare this to the personalized outbound method, right? So once they've said they want to see the free value, you send over the link and you ask if they've got any questions. Now the reason we do this is we want them to keep engaged, right? We want to hear a positive response. From there, you're going to have lots of personalization. You're going to build a relationship, and within this conversation, you want to find a pain point. The second you can find that pain point, it's going to be so much easier to sell them. It's so much easier to sell someone who's actually got a problem. And if they haven't got a problem, you need to find one. So at BERWICK Marketing, we have built these 7 belief systems, right, that we want to implement into the conversations. The reason we do this, we want them to turn around and essentially say, hold on a minute, I actually need what you offer. You don't want the end of this sales call to be like, I think this could really benefit you. I think this is what you really need. No, you want them pre-sold. You want them saying to you, I need it. When can we get started? So let's cover these areas. What have we got, right? Pain, doubt, cost, desire, money, support, and trust. And let's break them down. Pain. Does the client have one? And again, I'm going to use a fitness example for this. Let's say John, for instance, who's an accountant, is out of shape, but he has been for the last 3 years. This is part of his every day-to-day life. He doesn't know any different, okay? So there is a pain point there, but we have to make sure he can see it, okay? You want to ask him questions such as like, how is this affecting your morale? How is your day-to-day life with it? How are you living? Stuff like, are you motivated? Is it taking away from your confidence? And we're not trying to make them feel bad at all, but we're trying to make them realize there is a situation that they need to get a hold of. And again, remember, you are going to be the solution to that situation. So doubt, do they think the service works? Remember, we talk about these nurturing assets that we've built. Testimony page, that's going to take off that belief system easily. Now, cost, are you too expensive for their budget? What we mean here, right, whether you have the AI implemented from Closebot to do these conversations or yourself, you essentially want to find out what they do for work, to find out what their source of income is. Depending on what you offer, let's say you're offering high ticket anywhere from the thousands of dollars of range, or you're down in the low ticket anywhere from like $250, $300, you want to know what they do for a job. If they're a cashier, you can't be charging them thousands of dollars, just off that basis alone. Yeah, they might be able to afford it, but are they fit for that? If you're taking on loads of clients at once, you want to filter out the people that don't really fit your category, especially if they're on a payment plan. Let's say they're doing $1,000 a month. Are they going to be able to sustain that? No. You want to filter out the people that don't fit within your demographic. We have had plenty of fitness coaches, right, that charge $250, and we've had loads of fitness coaches that charge like $3,000 for a 90-day transformation. The people that are charging $3,000, they're specifically looking for managers, CEOs, people that work in hedge funds, banks, those sorts of things, right? Busy individuals that are all about work and don't really have the time for exercise. Whereas people that charge the $250 a month, they're just looking for someone that wants to get in shape, right? It doesn't really matter what job they have. As long as they have a source of income and an ability to purchase, they're going to be qualified. So desire. Do you fit their goals and can you support them? When we talk about scaling a business and really trying to build a company here, you can't just have everything specific, okay? If you specifically work on, again, I'm going to use a fitness example here, like body transformations, you don't deal with IFBB Pro bodybuilders, okay? Sure, you might know a thing or two and you could whip up a plan for them, but you're going to put so much more time into this one individual as opposed to your demographic as a whole. Remember, scaling a business is built off a copy and paste method. You are going to have to fine tweak something here and there to make sure their plans are individual, but you want a great foundation. And if you've got someone that's completely outside of that, you're going to put way too much time into this one individual, taking back from the business. Remember, your time is valuable here. You have to remember that. The thing that makes money is jumping on these onboarding calls and making sure that you're actually getting clients through the door. But not only that, remember, you're carrying out your services. You have fulfillment to do. And if you're too busy on this one individual who doesn't fit the rest of your clients, you're wasting time. They're not going to be paying enough to make it worth it. Now, the money side of thing, is return on investment worth it for them? When we talk about this, we want to think in the sense of, when it comes to fitness, it's a bit different, right? In fitness, we want them to realize that people aren't paying for just a coach. They're not just paying for a program, but they're buying back the best version of themselves. They're buying back their confidence. Remember, we touched back on the pain point here. Find out what the problem is. Sit there and ask them and say, what would your life look like if you could achieve X results? And then they're going to sit there and tell you what their life would look like. And then lo and behold, well, we can actually get that for you. So they've essentially glorified your results without you even saying you could do it. And then you're going to confirm, well, that's exactly what we do. So remember, when we talk about return on investment, it's not always numerical, especially for these fitness coaches. You want them to realize that they're investing in themselves. Now, fitness coaches aside, if you're an agency owner, right, let's just do an example. You're doing lead generation, for people that want to purchase products. If you're helping this agency get customers through the door and you're charging $2,000 a month, but you're only bringing them 5 customers that are paying $500 each, they're only netting $500 paying you $2,000. They're throwing out way too much capital to get a return of £500. It's simply not worth it. So is the return on investment worth it for them? When we really work it out, especially if you're getting a numerical goal at the end. If they're forking out $2,000 and getting back $500 profit, what's the point? They're not going to do it. They're getting rid of too much capital. So make sure that you can actually generate this company a source of income. And if it's not income, make sure you can generate results, because that's what they're trying to pay for. Now, support. Are you there for them to make sure they're not alone in the process? Again, back to the testimonies, another nurturing asset. If you've got something to back that they weren't alone in the process, and anytime I needed them or I was confused, I just sent out a message and they replied instantly, amazing. But let's talk about a few niches here, right? Now, if you're a fitness coach and they're doing support, if you're a one-to-one coach, I mean, this should be so easy to tick off. You're doing their own programs, you're doing nutrition plans, you're doing check-ins. It's easy, right? If you're an agency, you want to make sure that there's a direct line of contact, whether that's yourself, whether that's an assistant, whoever it is, you want a messaging system. You don't want just emails back and forth. Remember, it's 2024. Emails are like kind of a thing of the past. A lot of people just use WhatsApp now. It's more instant, it's easier to do, it's more casual, it's the new way of business. Everything's gone a lot more casual now. So you want to be able to adapt to that. Make sure you have a system in place where they can easily access you. Now, trust. Do they believe in you and think you have their interests at heart? This is so easy to do, right? Remember, the previous 6, if they are built up correctly, they're going to trust you anyway, because what you've done is found their problem, inflated it, told them you're the solution. They've now told you the results that is going to change their life, and you've agreed that that's what you can provide. So they know that what you do works, right? They trust your system. Now, do they believe in you and that they have their interests at heart? Remember, when you're having this conversation, it has to be personalized, right? You're building a relationship here. And remember, your offer, product, whatever it may be, benefits both parties. You get paid and they benefit. If you're selling something that doesn't benefit both parties, there's no longevity in that. You're not going to get very far. And this is why agencies, they need to have a good return on investment. We talk back to money here. So if you can tick all the previous 6 off, I guarantee you when it comes to the trust factor, by the end of this conversation, you're going to have them going, I have a pain point that I didn't even realize I had, but I know you're the solution to it and I need to fix this. I really need what you have to offer. That's the whole goal here. That's why we've designed this 7 belief system, because you need them to turn around as a pre-sold prospect and go, I need what you have and I need to do it ASAP. And that's what we're trying to get from this. So when we talk about the actual setting side of things, right, on the ad method, remember, completely hands off, we're removed from this, we've built it up, we don't have to worry about it. Not only have they booked the call and then been nurtured, they've also confirmed they're going to be attending. Now, when we talk about the personalized outbound method, right, we have two decisions here, 2 methods. Number 1, send them a calendar link. Does it work? Yes. Do people use it all the time? Yes. But if you're going through this whole process of trying to nurture someone, why are you giving them the ability to come back to it? It doesn't make sense, right? Because remember, people are in this state of like, I need this now, and you want to close them on the end of this conversation. If they're going to come back to it in 4 days' time, remember the original situation we talked about, where people are going straight from attract, straight from trying to book a call? That's where you're going to be at. They're going to forget this whole conversation even happened. So what you want to do ideally is book them in the calendar manually, right? Now, the reason we choose this method is because it can be the same day or 2 days after at most, right? We don't allow any more than 3 days, because remember, they're going to forget the conversation. We just want them booked in ASAP. They're in a buying state. You didn't do this nurturing conversation for nothing. They're in a buying state. Let's find out what we're going to do. So you're going to ask, can I get the number? Can I get the email? And remember, once you book it in, what happens, right? They've booked the call. They go to the next step section. The VSL. They understand more what you do again. They've had another conversation, right? They're getting more free value. What are they going to do when they confirm it? Testimonial page. Remember, if your testimony page has been built up and you've got multiple testimonies building up that content section, you're going to hit your pre-sold points a lot faster. Now, with that being said, that's what's going to get you calls booked into your calendar every single month that are qualified, and you can do this from the get-go, right? Now, if you're in a position where you've got no capital at all, the personalized outbound is absolutely brilliant, especially if you don't want to do a virtual assistant. You just do it yourself, send these DMs. It's long. That's just how it is. However, it works, okay? If you want to get your business up and running, this is how it works. Now, with that being said, if you've got a really good offer and your free value is amazing, you could be getting a client within 2 to 3 weeks. It's possible. I've seen it happen before. We've worked with many other coaches that are getting clients in, even off the same week, especially with the ad method. You could be getting leads same day, anywhere from like 5 to 6 on day 1. So like I said, if you're an agency or a fitness coach, anyone along those lines, and you've not got any prospects or clients coming in, use this method. This is what's going to get the ball rolling, right? And one thing I will say as well, in the beginning, if you've got the confidence to do it, charge them, but don't charge them a lot. Remember, you're a new business and you're new into this niche. Even if your knowledge is the best in the business, you have no social proof, okay? You might have done it with a few friends here and there and got some testimonies, amazing, but you need to start charging cheap in the beginning because your fulfillment isn't going to be the best, right? Your customer service isn't going to be the best. When you start a business, it's a complete learning process. You don't know what you're doing, and that's perfectly normal to feel like that. Everyone's been in that situation, and I would argue that when you don't know what you're doing, that's the best place to be because it means you're trying something new. Now, with that being said, I obviously help people scale their business, so there will be a link at the end of this if you want to talk further how we can help you scale as a company. But aside from that, this method is what's going to get the ball rolling for you. So yeah, try this method out, try both sides. If you want any support with the ad method or anything like that, or if you want to use high level and understand how it can generate extra income for your business, shoot me a message. I will have the high level link in the description below. If you want to shoot me a message on Instagram, that link will be in the description below. And if you want any more long form videos on some free value, feel free to hit up the YouTube. But if you want to learn about EOD reports and things like that, which again is really going to help your agency, especially if you're looking at implementing staff, it's all on the Instagram. But with that being said, I appreciate your time. Try this out and let me know how it goes.